It's my feel-good breakfast show.
This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Espresso. We are live on 3. Morning.
Good morning, sweet lady. Welcome to you guys at home. Getting prepped for a big weekend, tracking the social media waves, and it has been a very interesting morning thus far. Things happening online that shock us.
It has. Online, everything is online recently. We just spoke about Michael Jackson's brand new video that launched on Twitter, but something else online. We're talking Gumtree now. You know, I've got a lot of interest in sport. You know, I do a lot of sporting activities. One of my interests, of course, cycling, and I'm actually looking for a bicycle at the moment. And one of our colleagues downstairs found that out. He heard like, oh, you're looking for a bicycle. So he forwarded me this Gumtree ad, okay? So I read it. I was sitting there thinking, I was like, man, this is actually a brilliant ad. It caught the attention of 11,500 people on Gumtree. All right, so it goes like this. This guy, he basically advertised his bike along with his ex's phone number. All right, now this is what he wrote. He said, bought this bike because my girlfriend was into cycling. She dumped me and I hate cycling. I've used it twice since I bought it. Apparently it's quite a good bike. I'll throw in some size 9 specialized shoes for good measure, along with the ex's phone number if you ever feel like being taken for a ride.
Oh, wow. Firstly, that's a really hectic message to send your ex, but hey, man, good for him. That is a really nice bike.
Yeah, it is a really nice bike for a pretty good price as well, and it doesn't look like it's been ridden more than twice.
No,
either.
but the point is, I mean, you can literally find anything on Gumtree. I mean, Gumtree marketing head Claire Cobbledek says that there's not the strangest thing that they've seen on Gumtree. I mean, they've seen anything from a slightly dented bread roll.
I saw that story. No, I know about that. Yeah.
You saw it?
Yes.
Yeah, so is that, then there's there's also, that was for £1, obviously, by the way. £1,000,000 Ferraris as well. So obviously some of these are quite obviously pranks, but I don't know, do you guys think this is a prank?
No, I don't think it's a prank.
I think it's real, right?
I think he's quite desperate there. I think reality's sunk in. I love this one. Another gentleman offered his services as a stripper to fun-loving ladies in old age homes, free of charge, as one does, stating that just because you're old doesn't mean you can't have fun. There he is, the man in question. That was a joke. That was a joke.
Katleho's face disappeared there, but it's not true. Definitely not true. You know what? One should also learn from this. Don't abuse social media or anything. Look, it is a lot of fun, especially if you go on there and you put other people's details, but they verify it, so you will be caught out if you abuse it.
Yeah, no, I'm sure she's taken her pound of flesh as well after that. So yeah.
I love the part where taken for a ride.
Being taken for a ride, indeed.
Well, from social media that we use responsibly to learning more about it. Now, we asked the question, do we have to have manners when it comes to posting online? I think this is specifically for our parents. We are learning how much time to give them on their devices to make sure that they don't spend too much time on social media. But what happens to etiquette or even manners? Well, Nikki has the story, and we find out more.
With so many affordable home internet packages from Telkom, connectivity has become a part of our daily lives and our children's lives as well. And in the same way as parents teach their children to respect others, say please and thank you, and have good table manners, so too must they instill netiquette into the online generation, who will do as much as we allow them to do. Now, this morning we chat to creative parenting expert Nikki and co-author of the new book, Tech Savvy Parenting, about what we can do to ensure that our kids behave online. So, Nikki, when it comes to online behavior, what qualifies as bad behavior?
There are a few things, Kat. The first one is at the end of every month, kids suddenly realize that the data cap is nearing its limit and they push until they reach that limit. So sometimes unnecessary downloads.
Okay.
They use up their airtime and they go against the boundaries that have been imposed by their parents. And then when they visit friends' houses, sometimes they go and download big data on somebody else's account.
Okay.
It's actually quite rude.
It is, if you think about it. Now, I know that you use the example of the cyber cookie jar. How does that work?
That's right. Well, you know, in the real world, parents teach their children to ask for a biscuit or ask for a sweet and not steal it from their friend's pantry.
True.
Okay. So that's good behavior in the real world. Therefore, when we're visiting friends, we must ask if we want to download something that's of a reasonably large size.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, we are actually stealing cookies from the cookie jar without permission.
This is true when you think about it.
Yeah, so, you know, that really goes back to being a nice human being, having good manners, being mindful of other people's resources, because data is a resource today. It's a bit like electricity and water. We buy it with all our utilities every month.
Very true. So how then do you help parents help their children navigate into becoming, I guess, good adults and good human beings online by, showing good behavior?
From the very first time they get a device, what parents and children need to do is sign a contract. They need to have a terms of agreement. So this is what we wish for you, and this is what your responsibilities are, and these are our responsibilities, and these are what you agree to in terms of fair use. And that includes things like not doing in-app purchases without your parents' permission, not going over your airtime limit, telling your parents if you change your password, because parents need to have some control over your devices and know what you're up to. And so there are loads of things that you can put into an agreement. In fact, we've put a sample agreement in tech-savvy parenting. So parents can actually have a look there, they can chop and change it and make it their own. But it's important to have a baseline so that if something goes awry, we can actually come back to what the agreement was and say, well, this isn't working so well, so what are we going to do about this?
Okay. Now, as would happen in the adult world, if you were to default on your contract, you'd face the law. So what would be the repercussions of defaulting on this kind of contract?
On this well, you would have agreed already beforehand that if you go over your airtime, you might have to pay in the extra. If you are nasty to somebody online, you might actually get your phone taken away from you, or your access to the internet taken away for a period of time. Kat, at the end of the day, what we're really wanting for our children is that their behavior online and offline needs to be congruent, because really everything they're doing in either of the online or offline world is reflective of our family brand.
Nikki, thank you very much. As always, we appreciate your valuable advice helping parents and children out there navigate this new digital world. Now, if you'd like to get your internet set up at home, then contact Telkom, because they're ideally suited to offer you broadband and internet services that cater for your needs. And you can contact them either by going to one of their stores, or calling them on 10213, or visiting their online portal www.telkom.co.za for more information.
Turn your house into a connected home for only $3.99 per month from SA's best fixed and mobile broadband network. Call 10213 or go to a Telkom store.